Welcome, guys. You've made it to the last week of Mindful Movement, and today is all about strength. So bear down because this is going to be a tough one. I'm really excited to work on this with you guys. Let's just jump right into it. We're going to start lying down on our backs. So as you lie down on your backs, just have your knees bent, your feet planted flat on the ground, and then go ahead and rest your arms down by your sides. With your arms down by your sides, take an in-breath. And on your exhale, you're going to peel your head and your chest up off the mat. Reach your arms out in front of you. See if you can get both your shoulder blades up off the mat. And then you slowly just relax back down onto the ground. Take another in-breath. And again, as you exhale, you'll lift your head and chest up. Curl your shoulder blades up. And then come back down onto the mat. Last time, lift your head and chest up. Curl your shoulder blades up. And then we're going to hold here. So I want you to actually look at your belly button. Imagine you could suction it down and in towards your spine. Keep your arms lifted. Shoulder blades off the mat. Good. And then slowly come back down. Draw your knees into your chest. And once your knees are pulling in, you're going to grab hold of your shin bones. Curl your nose up towards your knee. Pull the knees into the chest. Lift your chest even higher up off the mat. Both shoulder blades are lifted as well. And then activate your feet so your toes are spread wide. Reach your arms forward past your hips. Now I want you to see if you can start to extend your legs to straight. And if you have any low back sensitivity, you'll keep your legs up higher. Okay, otherwise, you're going to drop your legs down lower, hollow out your belly, and hold here. You might feel a little shaking, and that's okay. We're going to open and close the legs for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to come all the way up to boat pose. So whether you have the legs straight or the knees bent, your chest is lifted. Your arms are out to your sides. Breathe here. Good, and then go ahead and cross the ankles. So plant your feet down on the ground with your ankles crossed. Take the hands next to your hips. You're going to push down into your hands to lift your hips up, and then see if you can lift your heels up. Hold it. And then come back down, uncross the legs, return to your boat position. Breathe. And then again, bring your heels down, switch the cross of the legs, hands by the hips, push down to lift your hips up, and then see if you can lift your heels up. And set it down. Okay, take the legs over to one side, come onto your hands and knees. So with strength, we also need stability. So we're going to work on a little cross-body engagement here. Take the right leg behind you, the left arm out in front of you, and just hold here. Feel your breath. Get as long as possible. And then we'll switch. Bring the knee down, bring the hand down. Left leg up, right arm forward. Hold here and breathe. Good. From here, knee down, hand down. Now we'll be coming right into plank position, so make sure your hands are directly under your shoulders. Step your right leg back, step your left leg back, find your plank. So in plank, we're going to activate this. Push your feet down. The tops of the feet push into the ground as much as possible. The balls of the feet push into the ground as much as possible. Almost like you could dig a hole with your feet. And then lift your belly up as you're here. Breathe. From plank position, lift your right foot an inch off the ground. Hold it. And with your right leg lifted, slowly start to come into a three-legged downward facing dog. Right, so the right leg stays lifted. Both sides of your body stay really long and spacious. And you're trying to work that left heel towards the mat. Lift the right inner thigh up to the sky. And then from this position, three-legged down dog, start to walk your hands back towards your foot, coming into a standing split. So in this position, you want to make sure your inner thigh is lifting higher than your outer hip as much as possible. So you're not cranking your hips open, in other words. Keep them neutral. And then from this place, from your standing split, walk your hands out in front of you a few inches. Plant down into the palms of the hands, lift high into your left tip toes. We're going to bend the standing knee, hop off the standing foot, and come right back down. You're going to do that 2 times. And then 3 times. And then folding forward, both feet to the mat. Separate your feet a little wider than your hips. And then go ahead and bend your knees and come into your yogi squat, your malasana. Drop your hips down, hands to your heart, and lift your chest. So just kind of wiggle side to side. You can move the weight around in your feet a little bit. Should feel pretty good. And then from here, again, hands down to the mat, straighten the legs, fold forward. Okay, slowly walk your way back into plank position. Hold your plank, push the toes down into the mat, draw your belly in and up, and breathe. And then from here, lift your left toes an inch off the floor. We're going to keep the left leg lifted and push back into a 3-legged downward facing dog. And once you arrive here, make sure that you're not cranking the hip open. We want to keep everything neutral. Both sides of the body equal in length. And then we'll slowly begin to walk back into our standing splits, coming to the back of the mat. Again, try to lift the inner thigh higher than the outer hip on the lifted leg. So you're finding internal rotation as much as you possibly can. Hold there for a couple breaths. And then once you've done that, walk the hands out in front of you, plant the palms flat on the ground, lift high into your right tiptoes, and then we're going to take 3 hops. 1, 2, and 3. And then you come back down, you fold forward, feet down, separate the feet, hips distance or a little wider, rebend the knees, and come back into your malasana. So again, we're just wiggling side to side in our malasana. Good, and then from here, hands down, fold forward, straighten the legs. And this time we'll return into plank position, walking your hands out in front of you. And once you get into plank, take your hands wider than your yoga mat. Take your feet together. And then see if you could keep going with the hands wider and wider. Come down to your lowest point where you feel stable. Hold there and breathe. Draw your belly in and up. And then slowly walk your hands back in. Come back to your plank position. Take your feet out wider than the mat. Bring your thumbs together to touch right in front of your face. Hold here and breathe. And then walk your feet back in. Push back into downward facing dog. From down dog, slowly walk all the way up to the top of your yoga mat. Inhale, lengthen spine. And exhale, fold forward. 2 more times like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And then 1 more. Inhale, lengthen. And exhaling, fold. Okay, take a little bend in your knees. Bring your hands to your hips. And as you hold on to your hips, find a flat back. Push down into your heels. And slowly come all the way up to stand. Okay, good. Now once we're standing, we're going to work on our balance a little bit and stability here. So you're going to need your core strength to help you. That's why we did it at the beginning of class as opposed to the end of class. Okay, so once you arrive in this position, feet almost touching, bend your knees and come into chair pose. Find your breath. Now, once we arrive in chair, hover your left foot off the ground. And then you'll slowly take your arms out wide to a T shape. And we're going to extend that left leg behind, coming into warrior 3. So I recommend keep a little bend in your standing knee. Take your arms out wide to a T shape. And then once you get into your warrior 3, draw your belly in. On your inhale, you'll bend into your standing knee as deeply as possible. And as you exhale, push down into the heel to straighten your standing leg. That's 1. Do it again. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, straighten the leg. That's 2. 1 more time. Inhale, you bend the knee. Exhale, straighten the leg. That's 3. Now, re-bend the knee. Come all the way back to chair pose. Left foot meets the right. Lift your arms up. Lift your chest up. Moving right into the second side. So we hover the right foot. Take your arms out wide to your sides. And then slowly extend the right leg back, keeping a little bend in the standing leg. So find your stability. Engage your core. On your inhale, bend your left knee. And then exhale to straighten. Again, inhale, you bend. Exhale, straighten. And last time, inhaling, bend. And exhale, straighten. Now, re-bend the knee. Come all the way back to chair pose. Arms up, chest up. Good. From here, fold forward. Straighten the legs. All right, heel toe your feet apart, hips distance. We're going to take a little intermission. Just take peace fingers to big toes. Grab hold of them. On your inhale, lengthen your waist, lengthen your spine. And on your exhale, bend your elbows and fold. So shake out your head, hang heavy here, breathe. And we'll be coming back into chair pose. So release your big toes, heel toe your feet together, bend your knees. Come back into Utkatasana, chair pose. Okay, so arms up, sink the weight down. Same thing, we're gonna lighten the weight in the left foot and then begin to open the arms out wide and kick that left leg back into Warrior 3. So now, once you're in Warrior 3, I want you to imagine the right hip, the right butt cheek, tucking in so much that your left hip is gonna magically stack on top of the right. Your arms are gonna open up to the side of the mat without touching the floor of the block. Make fists with your hands. So we're moving into Ardha Chandrasana here. Engage the core and the belly. Pull your arms as strong as you can. Breathe. Holding it for 3, 2, and on 1, we'll step all the way back to Warrior 2, deep bend in the front knee. Turn that back heel down. Keep fists with the hands. Sink really deeply into your front knee as much as possible. Breathe here. Good. And then we'll slowly look at that front foot, push into the big toe mound to straighten the leg. Bring your hands to your hips, step all the way up, top of the mat. Okay, so second side, we're doing a lot of stability work, a lot of strength work here by using your own muscles to support you and not using the block to the floor to get deeper, just your own internal muscular system. So let's return to our chair pose, bending the knees, arms lifting up. Okay, now the weight will shift into the left foot. We'll hover the right foot off the ground, take the arms out wide, and return to Warrior 3. So kicking the leg back behind you, find your balance. Now, I want you to imagine the left butt cheek, the left hip, tucking in so much, contracting and working so much that your right hip magically floats on top of the left. Make fists with your hands and then pull the arms as strong as you can get them. Breathe here. Keeping that top leg straight out from the hip, make sure it's not swinging behind you. That tells you you're using your butt and not your core. We want to use both. Hold it for 3, 2, and on 1, you'll bend your standing knee and really gently step all the way back into your Warrior 2. So keep fists with your arms and sink into the front knee. So challenge yourself here. We just got a couple of breaths. Get low. Okay, now look at your front foot. Push into the big toe mound, straighten the front leg, and release your arms. Whew. Good, hands to hips, step all the way up to the top of your mat. Shake it out a little bit here. Okay, come back into chair, take a big breath in chair, and then on your exhale, fold forward and straighten the legs. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And on the exhale, we'll step back into plank position. Now, once you get into plank, again, make sure your shoulders are stacked over your wrists on each side. Make sure that your legs are really strong and active. We're going to bring the feet together to touch. With your feet touching, turn your hips an inch to the right and then an inch to the left. So you're not turning your feet, you're not turning your shoulders. Everything else is stable as you turn your hips to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. Keep going side to side. Okay, next time you turn them to the right, hold there. And then come onto the outer edge of the right foot. And then go ahead and find full side plank. Stack your left arm on top of your right arm. Stack your hips. Breathe. Try to move your inner thighs back as you move your hips forward. Take one more inhale. And on your exhale, left hand comes down. Come back to center. Turn your hips to the left. Then roll onto the outer edge of the left foot. Then reach your right arm up. Stack your shoulders, stack your hips. Maybe shift your gaze up. Breathe. Last big inhale. And on the exhale, bring your right elbow down to the ground. Come into forearm plank. Same thing in forearm plank. Tilt your hips an inch to the right, inch to the left, inch to the right, inch to the left. Just go side to side on your own. Back and forth a few times. And then roll onto the outer edge of your right foot. Stack your left hip on your right hip. Come into Baby Vashisthasana. Hold here and breathe. Good. Release the left elbow down. Roll onto the outer edge of the left foot. Stack your right hip. Come into Baby Vashisthasana, second side. Breathe here. Maybe look up. And then come back to center. Hold your forearm plank. Breathe. Stick with it. You got this. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, drop your knees down. Push back to traditional child's pose. So knees are together, arms are wrapped back by your feet. Forehead rests on the mat. And we'll just take a couple breaths here to relax. Let your shoulders fold forward, no effort in the upper arms at all. And then from here, you're going to reach back and actually grab hold of your heels. Tuck your forehead into your knees. Pull on your heels to lift your butt up. Straighten your arms. You should feel a stretch between your shoulder blades. And come back down. And we'll do that again. Pull on your heels, lift your butt up. Stretch between your shoulder blades. And then come back down, hips to heels. Good, just sit up for a second. Shake out your shoulders, roll them up by your ears. And down, do that one more time. And then switch direction. So it was a lot of upper body work. So now we're gonna get into the core and the legs one more time. So we'll start in our downward facing dog. It's the last big push of class. From downward dog, really gently just step your right foot up in between the hands. Come onto your fingertips. So I want you to create a lot of length in both sides of your waist and both sides of your torso. Bring your hands to your hips and then slowly come up to your crescent lunge here. So we haven't yet been in our crescent lunge yet in this class. So I really want you to feel the opening of the hip flexor bending into the front knee. Now we'll take the hands and bring the hands behind your head so your elbows are open pretty wide. And then on your inhale, create some length in both sides of your waist. And on your exhale, just gently twist to your right. So we're not going to be able to twist very far, in fact, if you're keeping your right knee stacked over the heel, and if you're not letting your left hip collapse, right? So keeping the left hip open, Bend deeper into the front knee. Just breathe in this position, as far twisted as you can be, without using leverage, external leverage. And then go ahead and straighten your arms out from wherever your shoulders are. Make fists with your hands again. Get the arms really active. And we're going to slowly start to hinge halfway forward here. I want you to lean the weight into the front foot and see if you could step up into your twisted half moon. So you're not placing your hand on the block or the floor, right? It's hovering. Top arm is straight out from the top shoulder. The standing leg is bent a little bit, but the lifted leg is stick straight. So you're using your own leverage system, your own muscles to twist you. Breathe here. Now from this position, bend the standing knee a lot. Step all the way back and down. Drop your bottom knee down. Turn all 10 toes to the right. Walk your right foot down a little bit. You're going to stamp down into the right foot. Lift your hip up as high as you can. And just kind of wiggle around in that hip. Good. And then we'll come back onto the hands and knees. Wiggle your hips side to side. And from here, returning into our downward facing dog for side 2. Toes tuck, hips lift, push everything on back. Take a breath here. Exhale it out. Step your left foot all the way up to the top of the mat. And once it gets there, hands to your hips. Create some length in your spine. Come all the way up to your crescent lunge on the second side. So again, we'll just kind of sit in the lunge for a breath or two and feel the stretch in your hip flexor and all these little areas of the body. And then go ahead and bring the hands back behind your head, elbows open wide. So you're not tilting your head forward. In fact, you're kind of pushing your skull back into the palms of your hands. Now take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, twist to the left. So just twisting a couple of inches, as far as you can go without using external leverage. Maybe bend the front knee a little deeper and breathe. And then reach your arms straight out from your shoulders, make fists with your hands. We're going to start to slowly tip forward, lean forward, and with control, you step onto the front foot, lift the back leg up to the height of the hip without touching the floor, keeping your hips level as much as possible, using your oblique muscles to twist. Breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, bend the standing knee, step all the way back, bring your hand down, bring the back knee down, turn all 10 toes to the left, walk your left foot down a few inches, and then stamp down into the left foot, lift your hip up, and just kind of move and wiggle around in that outer hip. Good, and then come back to center, bring the knees down to tabletop, wiggle your hips side to side. Good. And then from here, we'll come down onto the bellies. We're going to work on a little bit of back strength. So we did front body, we did legs, and we did arms. And now we're going to do the back body. So I want you to take your arms out into a cactus position. And then flex your legs, bend your knees, and point the soles of your feet up to the ceiling. We'll take a deep breath in. On your exhale, push your hips down, lift your legs up, lift your arms up. So I want you to imagine like we're going to do lat pulls here, okay? We're going to straighten the arms and the legs, reach forward, and on your exhale, grab your bar, pull with the lats, bend your knees, pull the heels as close to your butt cheeks as you can. We'll do this again. Inhale, re-extend everything, reach, and then exhale, pull it all in. Again, inhale, reach, exhale, pull it in. Okay, one more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull it in. Lift up. And then relax, come down. Just turn your head to one side, wiggle your hips side to side. And then come back to center, legs straight behind you, arms straight in front of you, palms facing the floor, forehead to the mat. Take an in-breath, and on your exhale, suction your belly button in and up, away from the yoga mat. So if I was at home with you, I could slide my hand under your belly, and there would be some space between the belly button and the mat. And I want you to stay here. See if you can lift your arms up. Keep your forehead down. Push your legs down. Breathe. Good. Set the arms down. Now turn your palms to face up. Forehead back down on the mat. Legs down, belly button in and up. Take an inhale. On your exhale, lift your arms up. Keep the legs down. Keep your belly button lifted. And release. Good. Wiggle your hips. Shake side to side a little bit. And we'll come up into Sphinx position. Okay, so once you arrive in Sphinx, elbows and shoulders are stacked and aligned with each other. Again, we're going to suction the belly button in and up. Pull the shoulders to chest forward, shoulders backward. Engage your legs. And then I want you to see if you can lift your right leg off the mat. So not the right hip, just the right leg, without bending the knee. Breathe. So strength comes in a lot of different forms. There's so many different things you can do with your body. We want to make sure we're balanced. So if you're going to work on the front, you've got to work on the back as well. Sides, all of it, everything. Okay, release right leg down. Push the top of the right foot into the mat. Again, suction your belly in and up. Lift your left leg up, not the hip, just the leg. Keep it straight. Chest going forward, shoulders going back. Breathe. Good, and then place that left foot down. Okay, so now with both of the legs down, toes are untucked. We're going to take a big breath in. On your exhale, you look for your belly button. Peel your hips off the mat. Hold. So you're staying on the tops of your feet in a forearm plank. Breathe. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come down. We finished with the hard stuff. Now it's a little gentle, easy twist. You guys are set. You've done so amazing. So go ahead and slide your right knee out. So the right knee is going to work towards the right elbow. And this should already feel pretty good on your low back here. So you can hang out in this position, or you could take your left hand, grab your right knee, and then twist yourself all the way over onto your back. And just enjoy the stretch here. So I don't want you to force anything. Be really gentle. You're not cranking your body. You're allowing it to stretch. So just try to relax. And then we'll switch sides. So you just slowly roll back onto your belly. Come back into Sphinx position. Bring your left knee all the way up towards your left elbow. Hang out here if this feels good. Or take your right hand, grab the knee, and gently roll yourself open into a twist. Should feel pretty good. And then we'll come back onto the bellies, push back into a child's pose, hips to heels. From child's pose, walk your hands over to the right. Reach out through your fingertips, push your hips back onto the heels. Breathe here. And then we'll just switch sides, hands all the way over to the left. And breathe. And then come back to center and slowly find your way up into a seated position. So right where we started class, you can sit on your heels, you can take a cross-legged seat, whatever works for you. Just close your eyes for a moment. Notice how good your body feels, how strong your body feels. And again, just being receptive to all the benefits of this practice. Mental, spiritual, energetic, physical, whatever stuff comes up for you. Just honoring that. And when you're ready, blink your eyes to open and look forward. Okay, nice work today, you guys. Good luck with the rest of your 30 days of yoga.